In this little basic tutorial, I'm going to show you a technique that I use all the time. It's a very small technique, and the first one is something that I call selective merging. It's something that I use, for example, for this bridge image. What you see here is an image of the bridge with the foundation of the bridge, which is looking quite, well, it's not really looking quite dark, and I want to make it look darker. Something like this. And also the same applies to the railing of the bridge. So I'm trying to make that part a bit darker. First I'm going to load the selection that I've created before of the bridge, just to make sure that I'm not slipping my brush into unwanted areas of the photo. And then I'm going to enlarge it like this. I have to first copy the low key version because I want to have a darker foundation and railings of the bridge. I'm going to copy this first to my image that I'm working on, like this. Then I'm going to put this layer on top. So the darker version would be the middle layer. I'm going to create a mask. Now I'm going to reload my selection. I'm going to enlarge it even more so I have a good and close look at it. So I'm going to start with this part of the bridge, which is the railing. Now I'm going to use my Wacom tablet again and the brush tool, and I'm going to set the size of my brush a little bit smaller, something like this, and then can set opacity to, well, in this case I'll leave it on 100%. You can start with a lower opacity, but in this case I'm going to start with 100%, so I'm going to fill in this part of the image just like this. So what you see here is that the bridge railings are going to get darker right now. Something like this. Another basic tool that I use quite often is the sharpening tool, the local sharpening tool that you can find in After Effects Pro 2. It's something I use quite a lot for locally sharpening details in a building, for example, or in a pier in this case, because I never use the global sharpening tool. It's something that I wouldn't recommend using it yourself. So this is what I do for sharpening certain areas in my image. I'm going to take this pier shot. I'm going to first create a new layer, of course, and then I'm going to Nix Software After Effects Pro 2. Okay, then you have to go. Now, first I'm going to enlarge the image. And what I want to sharpen are specific details here in the woodwork of the pier. I'm going to enlarge it even more like this, something like this. Then I'm going to add the control points, this one. I'm going to put it on this spot on the pier. I'm going to decrease the circle size, because the circle of the control point determines which area is going to be affected by the adjustments that you are going to do in this phase. So I'm going to go to Fine Structure, this slider, and then you can play with the slider, something like this, or you can decrease the structure like this, but of course, I'm using this right now to enhance some of the details. So I'm going to go for something like 29%. So now you can see the before and after. This is before, this is after. Well, could use a little bit more, I think, yes, 52%. This is after, before. So you see some difference. Then you just click OK, and then that specific part of your image, In this case, the peer has been sharpened. So much for these two basic techniques that I use all the time, and I think and I hope that it might be useful for you as well.